The content in this magazine could contain references of topics and difficult subject matter that may be triggering. Please honor yourself, inner knowing, and proceed with whatever help or guidance you feel is intuitively aligned. Welcome to Sovereign Magazine Podcast. I'm Nicole George, CEO and founder of Sovereign, and I'm so happy you are here. Today, we are joined by Arin Dosh, our in-house astrologer, who is here to guide us through the cosmic energies of the moon. Arin helps us understand how the celestial rhythms can support our journey to embodying our sovereign selves. Let us dive into what the stars have to share with us today. Keep listening to hear all of the intuitive messages meant for you. Hello. Today I have the privilege of reconnecting with Arin Dosh, our amazing astrologer here at Sovereign Magazine. She specializes in traditional and Hellenistic astrology. Her work blends ancient techniques with clear, grounded guidance. She offers natal, horary, and electional readings with a focus on timing, remediation, and meaningful client support. With a background in counseling and social work, she approaches astrology therapeutically, helping her clients meet life with a more self-understanding sovereignty and soul. Welcome back, Arin.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yes. Today we're talking about Determined and Resilient, which is our June full moon issue. And we have a full moon in Capricorn, the light of endurance. So share more.
Yes. So the moon in Capricorn, this is going to occur on June 29th at 8 degrees of Capricorn to be precise. And this full moon will illuminate responsibility, long-term goals, authority, and endurance. So yes, very closely matching our theme, determined and resilient. This full moon is actually closely conjunct a fixed star called Facies, also at 8 degrees of Capricorn, so it's exactly conjunct. And this fixed star brings a focused intensity, unflinching vision, and the capacity to endure difficult terrain. Success comes through concentrated effort and sustained hard work with this fixed star. So Capricorn full moons don't promise ease. They reveal what requires stamina and ask us whether we're willing to meet the moment. The full moon is going to be ruled by Saturn as the ruler of Capricorn, and he is currently in his fall in Aries at 14 degrees of Aries. So this is a challenging spot for Saturn. We may see authority under strain, leadership tested, new structures still trying to be born, and immaturity exposed. This full moon is actually also square Saturn, so this lends greater pressure and it asks for accountability. It brings potentially consequences of past actions, and there may be frustration where growth is required. The full moon really highlights the tension between what feels nurturing and what is structurally necessary. So resilience here means choosing the long term over the immediately comforting. It also really highlights the Cancer-Capricorn axis. The moon is in her detriment in Capricorn because she's opposite her home domicile of Cancer. We also have Jupiter in Cancer and Mercury, who's stationing retrograde at this moment of the full moon at 26 degrees of Cancer. And Jupiter is at 29 at the very end of Cancer. So the themes that we're going to see come through here will be like tension between family versus career. You might struggle a bit with your work-life balance and need to potentially recalibrate for that. There might be tension between emotional safety versus external achievement, and personal needs versus public duty, care versus control. Mercury retrograde is going to ask us to revisit conversations about responsibility, potentially, reconsider emotional commitments, and review plans before solidifying them. There may also be a call for private reflection, which influences public action. And Jupiter at 29 degrees of Cancer is a culmination of a year-long emotional growth cycle. So Jupiter has been in Cancer now for an entire year, and he's about to leave for Leo, really within the next days. There's a fast surge of emotional protection and potentially of attachment here. This is a bit of a checkpoint moment. What have you outgrown emotionally? And what are you now ready to claim as your responsibility? And then let's talk about the transits and planetary movements following this full moon and leading up to the next new moon. The next day, the very next day after the full moon, Jupiter will indeed leave Cancer and enter Leo. So he was exalted in Cancer. That's his favorite place to be. He was there for an entire year, and he brought us a lot of emotional expansion. And, even though emotional expansion is great, it's not always easy because it asks us to grow and sometimes to get out of our comfort zone. There have been shifts about, private and protective energy to becoming more visible and expressive now in Leo. That's what we're going to be asked to do. There will be an increased emphasis on creative leadership, performance and recognition, and personal confidence. Jupiter immediately begins applying to an opposition with Pluto in Aquarius, a trine with Neptune in Aries, and a sextile with Uranus in Gemini. So expansion now engages power, vision, and innovation. Confidence rises, but so does intensity. Then shortly after, on July 4th, we have a Mars conjunct Uranus at 3 degrees of Gemini. This is pretty volatile, especially if we are reactive. There could be sudden action, decisive conversations, potentially breakthrough thinking, disruptions in plans, sharp words, or rapid pivots. So it's excellent for innovation, but again, it can be very volatile, so we want to approach it as consciously as possible. And then the same day, July 4th, Mars will sextile Neptune from 4 Gemini to 4 degrees of Aries. And this should bring inspired or intuitive action, acting on belief or spiritual conviction, and courage aligned with a larger vision. It could be really productive for creative or strategic risk-taking. Then the next day, Mars trines a retrograde Pluto from 4 Gemini to 4 Aquarius. This will bring strategic empowerment, tactical precision in communication, mental clarity about leverage and influence, and we may be aware that words carry force, so we should choose them deliberately. Then on July 6th, the Sun squares Saturn from 14 Cancer to 14 Aries. And this will bring emotional pressure meeting structural limitation. So responsibility surfaces probably very clearly. Authority or leadership tests or challenges could arise. Frustration can also arise if expectations exceed capacity. And maturity will require choosing what is sustainable here. Then on July 7th, Neptune will station retrograde at 4 degrees of Aries. And this is as far into Aries as he's gotten, really honestly, in our lifetimes, in over 100 years. Ideals will turn inward. We will get to review and reassess what Neptune has been doing in Aries so far. So think reassessment of vision and belief systems. There may be some subtle disillusionments, and there could be some spiritual recalibration. On July 9th, Venus will enter her fall in Virgo. Relationships here become more practical and evaluative. There's an increased discernment around finances potentially and commitments, and love is expressed through service rather than dramatically as it was when she was in Leo. Critical thinking replaces romance in a lot of ways. The next day on July 10th, Venus will conjoin K2, which is the south node of the moon. And this will ask us to release outdated relational patterns and bring us a sort of karmic detachment. There could be some cutting of the cords or redefining expectations in relationships. And in Virgo, we're probably simplifying rather than accumulating. And then on July 13th, Venus squares Uranus from 4 Virgo to 4 Gemini. So this could bring sudden relational shifts and unexpected information surfacing. There could be a liberation from stagnation and clarity through friction. If we haven't already released and cut the cords that we needed to, this will bring a sort of jolt, probably awakening us to what needs to be released. This lunar cycle intensifies pretty quickly, and what begins as accountability under the Capricorn full moon rapidly becomes a recalibration through Mars, Jupiter, and Venus. So resilience here means staying steady while everything else accelerates. Some reminders: resilience is not rigidity. It is a steady commitment. It is choosing discipline when emotion is loud and heightened. Capricorn teaches us that endurance, responsibility, and integrity built over time are important. With Saturn under pressure and in his fall, strength comes from conscious accountability. So this full moon reminds us, resilience isn't about comfort or avoidance. It's about choosing to carry what matters and letting go of what doesn't. What do you think, Nicole?
Wow. I was like, volatile, holy moly. And then I realized, oh, this is just getting some clarity amongst the chaos. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we're almost certain to see the volatility in the world around us, and there will be people around us that probably aren't prepared and don't handle this energy well. And sometimes we're one of them, right? We all have our days. So I think the key is to grant other people grace and keep our wits about us and sort of, notice what's happening best you can. Notice what's changing, what's shifting, and to take responsibility for really what's yours and let go of what isn't. That would be a good piece of advice here, I think, too. And yeah, Saturn in Aries, Aries is a very individualistic sign. And so even though he's challenged in Aries, I think that's what he's asking us to do, is to look at our boundaries with other people and asking us to not take on responsibilities, emotions, feelings that belong to others, and to help build better boundaries around that.
Okay, wow. I was looking forward to this time. Now I'm a little worried because you keep talking about being conscious of our words and all of these things, but It is good for our growth, and sometimes we need a little chaos, and that's okay. All right. If you have any questions for Arin, she's in our community.sovereign-magazine.com. All her details are in the show notes if you want to have a reading with her. She's absolutely amazing, and she will be back for the new moon next month. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. I'll be back tomorrow with more ways to step into your sovereign self as I begin the interviews with our soul-led entrepreneurs. Subscribe to our magazine and podcast and join our global community for all the magic. Details on how to find your weekly horoscopes or connect with Arin are in the show notes. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review. It helps us reach our goal of guiding 5 million to their sovereign selves.